Vance should support abortions if he wants to minimize violence against children and advocate for happy, healthy families. The Turnaway study followed 1,000 people seeking abortions to compare what happened if they were able to receive one versus what happened when they were turned away from the abortion they were seeking. Here's some quick key points from this study that may be helpful to consider. The people denied abortion were more likely to stay in contact with a violent partner and were more likely to raise the resulting child alone without family or partner support. Some people misunderstand the more likely to stay in contact with a violent partner as being made to go through the pregnancy, keeping people in those relationships, which, if they're married and you're like Vance, you might support just because it's a marriage, I suppose. But the reality is, for the first 2 years, yeah, that's true. People who have kids by an abusive partner struggle to leave because they become much more financially dependent. However, at 2 years, they left at the same rates as people who got abortions. Those who sought and received an abortion were more financially stable, set more ambitious life goals, raised children under more stable conditions, and were more likely to have a wanted child later. Rather than tethering people to abusers, let people make their own decisions. That leads to children in happier and more stable environments. But Vance won't support abortion, as I've already covered. He is extremely anti-abortion. While he plays political games to moderate the wildly unpopular position he holds that even Trump criticized before pulling him on, his personal position is that abortion is a moral problem that has a morally distorting effect on society. To explain this, he compared it to slavery. He has said that when it comes to rape and incest exceptions for abortions, two wrongs don't make a right. If these positions sounds like he's mixing his own moralizing with legislation, that's because he is. Vance describes himself as a member of the post-liberal right, according to the National Catholic Register. The post-liberal right is an upstart political movement that flips the conventional conservative script and emphasizes the good of community over individual liberty. The controversial approach, which is both inspired by and contested within the Catholic Church, includes harnessing state power to secure its aims, another break from the standard operating procedure of the American right. If this sounds like a religious state to you, you're correct. Vance is a Catholic that wants marriage between one man and one woman, everlasting, for the children, even if there's violence in the marriage, and wants to make abortion very illegal. Vance wants to solve society's ills by pressing people into straight marriages explicitly to have children, forcing them to carry unwanted pregnancies without regard for their circumstances, and doesn't support gay marriage, let alone trans people, which we didn't get time to talk about. And they want to do that using the state as a tool. This position is controversial even within the Catholic Church. 3 Catholics spoke out about this, but it's in the Wall Street Journal, and as interested as I am, I'm not paying for it. So here's the quote we get. "We hope that Mr. Vance will not be manipulated by a small, power-hungry faction inside of the church he has joined," they wrote. They also argued that post-liberal thinkers depart from the church's teaching by diminishing the inalienable rights of persons and families, which are prior to the state. Vance's ideology uses the state to trample on individual rights to carry out his own religious beliefs. So when you hear him make weird comments, weird misogynistic comments about crazy cat ladies being miserable, keep his agenda in mind. People living happy lives outside of a traditional family structure isn't compatible with Vance's post-liberal Catholicism. Vance is against American freedom.